for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. All right. I hate when I forget to bring some water up here to get started. But, here I am, live and direct, as I promised, and I hope you all are enjoying it. We're doing more live videos because I can get the content to you quicker. I want to be more engaging, want to keep you up to date. And like I said, I always try to improve each year on my coverage of the Carolina Panthers. So this is what we're doing this year. So let me go ahead and formally introduce myself and get started so we all can enjoy our Labor Day. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day. For me, it wasn't so much of a day off. Lots of work to be done today, but let me get started. Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers. Today is Monday, September the 7th, a Labor Day holiday for most, but the Carolina Panthers were at work today. So without further ado, and in no particular order, I'm going to go over my notes today from the media availability that we had today, which included Matt Rule. What do we have here? I'm going to have to reference my notes. Brandon Zylstra and Miles, I didn't write his full name. Why did I not do that? But he's the cornerback that also can double as a running back. So let me also give a few shout outs, and I hope you guys are enjoying again this free live flowing content that I have. I got a few questions here. The NFL herd, what's up? What do you think of the release depth chart? Hadn't had a chance to digest it yet. Jay Hudge, what's going on? And my man, Alton Moore. Good evening. Hey, let me know what you guys thought of that intro. I'm going to be having a new intro made shortly, but figured I'd put that out there for everybody to see some of the interviews that I did. So we are definitely going to go into some more in-depth videos later this week. Got a lot of interviews lined up tomorrow with the GM Marty Herney, with Teddy Bridgewater, some other players. So not sure if I'm going to go in depth tomorrow or if it'll be later in the week closer to that Raiders matchup. But nevertheless, we will. And let's go ahead and get started. So the first up today for the media was head coach Matt Rule. And of course, naturally, he was asked about the waiving of some players. First started with defensive end Efe Obada, which I don't know how you could not have had your heart just feel for this guy as he was released yesterday. And, Rule started out talking about Efe and that he did love the guy. And you could tell he was searching for some words. And he went on to say he doesn't really want to talk about why he waived the guys that has been waived or released. I mean, all those guys did good and just didn't work out for football reasons. I will talk about some transactions that were made, but I don't want to jump too far ahead of myself. Actually, let me go ahead, since I just set myself up. Let me talk about the transactions that were made today. So let me go ahead and bring this on up for you guys to take a look at. All right, so we did have a few transactions today. Reserved injured was designated for cornerback Eli Apple, who has been bothered by a hamstring. Believed he may be back within about 3 weeks. And then wide receiver Keith Kirkwood was placed on that designation as well, reserved/injured. We did do a few transactions. We had 3 positions open on the practice squad. I believe this now takes us down to 2 positions. Safety Kenny Robinson was signed to the practice squad, and tackle Matt Caskey was signed to the practice squad. Now, some big additions. We had tight end Colin Thompson, who was signed to the 53-man roster. And guess who's back? Efe Obada was signed back to the 53-man roster today. So there you go. Life in the NFL, you're gone one day, you're back the next day. So glad to see Efe Obada is back on the 53-man roster, not the practice squad. And hey, we can all cheer for him. So let me go ahead and get into some of the things that Coach Rule spoke about today. And again, these notes aren't perfectly aligned in sequential order, but it's more important to me to get the information to you instead of taking another hour to bundle it up and put all these other graphics, and it'd be 11 o'clock at night before I'm doing this video. Today was a bonus day, is how Mutt Rule described today's practice. Bonus day mostly because Sunday is typically a game day. Monday you're not going to practice, you're mostly going to review film. But since they did not have an actual game, they were able to get into practice today, which he felt was a bonus practice. Guys had lots of energy. They were very attentive, and he doesn't feel, I have a note, doesn't feel much different. Oh, it doesn't feel much different in terms of this week and compared to other weeks. And what he's going to be looking for, particularly from players this week, as they prepare for the Raiders, is how much preparation they do when they're not in the stadium. He said that to me several times when I asked him about this practice and going through this week, that he really, really wants to see players who are not going to be back in the building until Wednesday. So today's Monday, they're off Tuesday. They will not be back until Wednesday. He wants to see guys preparing for a game just like the coaches do, and looking for that improvement just in their knowledge and preparation for the game, and believes that confidence comes from preparation and knowing that he has a lot of rookies, a lot of young guys on this team. That's going to be key to him, and I got a feeling that when they come in on Wednesday, that's the biggest thing that he's going to be looking for, to see who was, maybe at this level for understanding and knowing the playbook, preparation, or whatever. He wants to see those guys not come back in at the same level that they were last week. And he feels like the coaching staff has been examples for that grinding effort, and really wants to see that from the players that come in. In terms of him and his coaching staff, I asked him about their readiness for the Raiders, and he said that something that he likes to do when he's coaching, he likes to be well ahead of the game, meaning they didn't start this week and say, hey, we're going to get ready for the Raiders. They started getting ready for the Raiders well before this week, asked the coaches to start their preparations well before this week, and because they did not have any other preseason games, they did have that opportunity to start to get ready. Naturally, Rule was asked about his team and does he feel like they have a little bit of an edge when going up against opponents, because nobody knows them yet. And I feel like they do, certainly. And Rule agreed that they do, but he says he doesn't know how much that can count for a full game. It's a little bit of an edge that people don't have tape on them, people don't know, but it's the NFL. Everybody's a pro, everybody's great. So it's not like it's going to be that huge of an advantage. I think where Rule is going to be counting on his other advantage to try to steal away some possessions in his games for this first season as a pro coach will be special teams. If you listen to a lot of his press conferences or to me talk about what Rule has talked about, he's mentioned special teams being something that he really feels that this team can use to their advantage to get a leg up on people, to get some good field position, to steal a possession maybe even. And, he has a lot of athletic guys on this team. He has a lot of very fast guys on this team. So I believe that's where he's going to be looking to try to grab another edge in any matchup, and certainly this matchup this weekend against the Las Vegas. I was going to say Los Angeles, against the Las Vegas Raiders. In terms of quarterbacks, they kept 3 quarterbacks, Will Grier, as well as P.J. Walker. Now, who's going to be the true number 2? He says that's really not going to be up to him. He's going to let Joe make that decision on the backup quarterback situation. And I said this last week, that he mentioned that if they did keep 3 quarterbacks, that each week is going to be a competition between those guys to see who can eke out and get that number 2 position. Going to look at a few questions that have come in from a Man Shack and a few other places. Let's see. Just talked about F.A. Bada being back. Rule probably saw the fans upset on Twitter. One thing I would definitely have to say is coaches are nice people. A lot of them are. GMs can be nice people, but they're not. They care about the fans cheering them on and putting a winning product out there on the field, but they're not as concerned about how we react to personnel moves whatsoever. They can't be. It'll be too many distractions. They always emphasize, and I truly believe this, they focus on the people that are in those meeting rooms and what they think. That's the most important, and then they hope the end result is the fans appreciating the kind of product that they have put out there. Another question that came in, wondering what is my impression with Matt Rule regarding being open with the media. It seems like he is very approachable, very open, willing to answer the media questions. Yeah, Matt did seem a little different today. He said that he was bothered by the lighting setup. I guess they got a new setup, just, as everybody's getting a better setup. I'm going to improve my audio setup here at the house for live streams. But he did seem like he was more itching, ready to go and continue to prepare for the Raiders. He didn't seem like, he wasn't short with this by any means, but just because I have talked with him quite a few times through our media opportunities, I did see that as soon as the meeting was over, he immediately got up, and usually there's a slightly, they were like, as soon as it was over, he was like, boom, he was out the chair. But Matt Rule is very impressive to me in terms of how open he is, how candid he is. He seems very genuine with a lot of his responses. And it's pretty cool. I think I'm going to certainly enjoy the opportunity to continue to work with Coach Rule as he leads the Carolina Panthers, hopefully on to victory this Sunday. Moving on to some injury updates. Ian Thomas was on the field today. Didn't really practice much. When asked about the tight end situation, Rule stated that he believes that Ian will be able to go this Sunday. Certainly you have Chris Manhertz, but we all know Manhertz is mostly a blocking quarterback. A blocking tight end. He's working on his hands. He's getting better. Teddy Bridgewater's talked about helping him with his hands. But I believe if Ian Thomas is going to be out, that it's not going to be that big of a deal for us, because we do have a lot of versatile players, or athletes, I should say, that Rule has put on this team. Probably should say Marty Hurney, because he's a GM. But in terms of blocking, and if Chris needs a break, or if there's two tight end sets, he says that they'll likely just use an offensive lineman in those situations if they are short with their tight ends for this weekend. That sums up today's report. Again, tomorrow we will have access to Teddy Bridgewater, to GM Marty Hurney. So I'll be back on here giving you guys a report about those two and what they say. As always, I work for you, like to say, man of the people. So please, if you have not done so, and if you have a question, leave them in the comments below, and I will make sure that I take those questions to the players and coaches and get those answers for you. Let's see, I got it. Tyler, I'm upset Samuel isn't our number 2. Samuel's not our number 2. You're saying who's our number 2? The new guy. I can see his face. Taller guy. I don't pay much attention to those depth charts. Let me see. I guess you guys, first official depth chart did come out today. And what do we have? Oh, Robbie Anderson. There, I could think of his face and what he looked like. Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I really don't think with this team that the difference between a 2 and a 3 wide receiver is going to be much at all, because of the fact that they're going to use spreads so many times. So many times they're going to have 3, even 4 wide receivers out there, that I don't feel like Curtis Samuel as a number 2 is anything significant and could change based on game plan. So thanks for presenting that comment there, Taylor. All right, so that's it. Hey, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. That way you can stay up to date with me as I go live and talk to you about the Carolina Panthers. And planning on having some players on this week. And I can't say who because I'm in the beginning stages of that, but I had to find a way to bring players and coaches to you guys. That's what I always do. So look for those to be coming. Turn on your notifications. You'll be able to see them. Hey, enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.